Okay, so we have a new app today called Play the Drums. And this app, it's just a simple little thing. For every time you play the drum, you get a point. But the purpose of this app is to learn how to make a timer and make points that will go up, but will stop going up whenever the timer runs out of time. Later, we're going to talk a little bit about this start button down here and how to get this start button to kick off the whole game, in addition to just being able to do it on the green flag. And this will enable us to learn how to restart games in the future. So let's just jump right into it. When the green flag is clicked, this drum plays some beats. But the problem here is that the timer is now at 0, but we can continue to play the drum. So this game has no way to stop, and that's what we're going to focus on first. So if we take a look at the code, there are only two elements here. There are only two sprites, the drums and a button. And the drums have some starter code that's already in the template. The starter code basically says we're going to take two variables, one of them named timer and the other one named points. We're going to set the timer to 5 and we're going to set the points to 0 when the game first begins. And then we're going to have it do this paragraph here called reset. This reset is a paragraph that we defined on our own by going to My Blocks and making a block called reset. And then whenever we take the code out to run a reset, it will just run over to this paragraph and do whatever it says here. So this reset is resetting the clock. And basically what it's doing is it's saying, we're going to repeat a certain number of times. This is the timer. We're going to repeat timer number of times. And in this case, the timer is set to 5. So we're going to repeat 5 times. We're going to wait 1 second, and we're going to change what's in the timer by -1. So it's going to say repeat 5 times, and it will say wait 1 second, and then it will set timer to 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And after it gets down to 0, we want to tell the player that their time is up. So we want to say something. We want to say, your time is up. But what it would be nice to do is to tell the player how many points they earned. We're going to come back to that in a minute. So this timer is happily clicking down. At the same point, this drum right here has, when the drum itself is clicked, it says change points by 1. So every single time this drum is clicked, I'm going to give myself 1 extra point. I'm also going to play a random sound from the drum's costumes, which are any of these. These are just drum noises. And I'm just going to pick a random one and play it. We know that our users really like to have a lot of audio and visual feedback when they're playing a game. So another fun thing to do would be to change the costume. This drum has just 2 costumes, one where the sound is up and one where the sound is down. So a fun thing to do would be to go over to the looks and just have it do next costume as well. So every time we click the drum, it makes the little buttons go up and down. Another thing about this is that it would be nice if this were not draggable, because we don't want this thing to drag all over the place as the user is clicking it. So we'll set the drag mode to not draggable. And we'll do the same thing on the button. We'll set it to not draggable because we really don't want anything to go anywhere on this screen. Not draggable. Okay. So we are clicking on here and I'm earning points, and every time I'm clicking on here, I'm changing the point value by 1. This points variable is going up by 1. Just as a reminder, the variables were something that we set over here when we did make a variable. And we made these 2 variables, points and timer. So now we want to make sure that the variable here, that the points, do not go up unless there's actually time left on the clock. So what we can do is we can say if there is time left on the clock, or if the timer is greater than 0, then we will allow these points to happen. So we can put this in here, and now when I click on here, even though this code shows that it's flashing, I'm not getting any more points because there is no time left on the clock. If I hit the reset button on the flag, the timer is now 5, and all of a sudden we can hear it again until the timer goes to 0, and then there's no time left on the clock. The points stop at 20. We'd also like to give our users some feedback about how well they did, even though the points are right here. We'd like to give them some more feedback here to make the game very responsive to the user. So when that clock runs out here, this timer right here runs out, we want to say something to the user. And it would be nice if we told them how many points they had, and we put right in the sentence the number of points they earned, because they're earning points here. So we can go over to the variables and we can pull out the word points, and we could say you got, and then say the number of points. So we say you got : space, this number of points. And this is a join block, by the way, in the operator section, and you'll find it where it says join apple and banana. It takes these two things and it puts them together as one line of text. If you want to put 3 things together, you will need multiple join blocks. And in this case, we're going to take this you got, in my case, 20. I'll put that in this hole, and now it says you got 20 points. This verb, this word over here has a blank and then the word points, so that when it all is strung together, it says you got : space 20 space points, exclamation point. And we'll take all of this and we'll throw it in a say block, and we'll say it right as soon as the clock runs out. So now when we play our game again, we can hit the green flag to start over again, and then we can start clicking on the drums. And as soon as we run out of time, it says you got 11 points for 2 seconds. So that is how to make a timer count down, and points only allow you to have the points when there's actually time still left on the clock.